Kelsey, we just want you home. Call us if you can, and we won't quit looking.
A mystery in the mountains.
Right now, they are treating this as a missing persons case.
She was a mother, a pilot, a caring friend, suddenly gone without much of a trace.
What's the most important thing you want to get out there right now?
Kelsey's face.
Until a late December breakthrough.
Today we arrested Patrick Frazee on charges of first-degree murder of Kelsey Berreth.
The case that captured the nation's attention, now seemingly headed for trial.
I'm well aware there are multiple investigations going on in multiple states.
Even as some of the evidence is still under seal. I'm Sam Kraemer, and right now we're looking deeper at the Kelsey Berreth case, a story I've followed closely here at News 5. We want to run you through an updated timeline of what allegedly happened because it goes back months before Berreth was even reported missing.
Continuing coverage now on the Kelsey Berreth investigation.
Kelsey's been missing and been reported missing by her mother, Cheryl.
This nightmare all began as a missing person case on December 2nd, but Berreth was last seen publicly on Thanksgiving Day, November 22nd.
Never has she gone anywhere without saying anything. Yeah, it's just not like her.
Nearly 2 weeks later, police released this surveillance footage of her entering the Woodland Park Safeway with her daughter. And while physical signs of her were lacking, experts believed a digital footprint would help suggest foul play was evident.
The key, I think, will be in this case is cell phone analytics.
On November 25th, Berreth's cell phone pinged off a tower near Gooding, Idaho, nearly 800 miles from Woodland Park, 3 days after she was last seen.
Police remain tight-lipped tonight on their investigation.
A week into the investigation, police still hadn't released any information to suggest how the device got there.
If somebody makes a trip, you can track them very easily.
We'd learn later police knew more than they shared publicly all along.
We have just learned Patrick Frazee, the fiancé to Kelsey Berreth, has been arrested.
Charged with first-degree murder and solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
As you can tell from the arrest, sadly, we do not believe Kelsey is still alive.
It was the culmination of weeks of investigating across different states, a process we now know relied heavily on one person, Crystal Kenny from Idaho.
In exchange for her testimony, she reached a deal with the state on a lesser charge.
She helped piece together almost every part of the crime from the very beginning.
Meantime, in Teller County today, the murder case against Patrick Frazee took a step forward.
So let's go back to piece all of this together with Kenny's testimony, released in court on February 19th from her late December interview with police. Kenny told investigators she started dating Frazee in March of 2018, but actually didn't know about his relationship or his daughter with Berreth until July. Around that time, she says Frazee voiced concerns that Berreth was an abusive parent toward their daughter, despite investigators finding no proof of said harm. Kenny's testimony also has Frazee saying he wanted to get rid of her, referring to his fiancée, opening the door to solicitation charges.
What it suggests to me is that he probably asked the same person to either help or commit the crime individually.
Kenny's interrogation showed Frazee tried having her commit the crime 4 separate times.
Before he finally did it himself.
From September through Thanksgiving, Frazee asks Kenny to poison Kelsey's coffee, beat her to death with a bat, and then a rod.
She said, "I can't do this," and tells Patrick, "I can't do this."
Before one last effort to pass off the murder, Frazee is reported to say he'll just kill Berreth himself. Fast forward to Thanksgiving, Frazee calls Kenny, reportedly saying, quote, "You need to get out here now. You've got a mess to clean up."
32-year-old Crystal Kenny of Idaho facing a Class 6 felony in connection to the crime.
And it's at that point Kenny fears the worst, and 2 days later, she makes her way again to Woodland Park.
And as Crystal describes, when she walks into Kelsey's condo, the scene is horrific.
With cleaning supplies brought from home, she clears the crime scene in only hours.
There's blood everywhere.
After this, Frazee reportedly takes Kenny to a barn on Nash Ranch where he stores Berreth's body in a black tote. From there, he looks to have Kenny take the corpse to Idaho, a request she denies.
Frazee burned the body along with other evidence, collected the ashes, and then threw them in the trash.
Once everything is finished, that's when Kenny claims Frazee opens up about the murder.
Prosecutors believe he beat Berreth to death inside her townhome
with a bat in the back of the head as Kelsey is sniffing candles with a blindfold over her eyes.
To finish the crime, Frazee gives his fiance's cell phone to Kenny, instructing her to text Berreth's work supervisor, her mother, and himself. It's a plan meant to throw off investigators, showing Berreth driving off on her own.
She, quote, moved the victim's phone with the intent of impairing the phone's availability.
In reality, Kenny took the phone back to Idaho on November 25th for an intentional ping before destroying it. A week later, Berreth's mom, Cheryl, calls Frazee. She's asking if he's heard from her daughter. He claims that he hasn't, prompting Cheryl to call police, who then started their investigation. Authorities searched Berreth's townhome on December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, even using cadaver dogs and chemical agents.
And search and investigative teams back at the Woodland Park home of Kelsey Berreth.
And at first, the process turned up no signs of foul play.
As a reminder, Patrick Frazee is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
But everything changes on December 6th when CBI forensic agents find blood spots around the home, some of which Kenny says she left intentionally for police to find. Pat asks if they found a body yet. That is obviously the next logical question, and the answer to that is no, not yet. 2 days prior, police seize Frazee's cell phone and, utilizing tower data, find incriminating evidence. It's evidence that indicates both his phone and Berreth's traveled together to Nash Ranch, the alleged storage place of Kelsey's remains. Additionally, details reveal several calls between Frazee and Kenny, corroborating her story.
We wouldn't even know where the murder happened in the apartment, even which room or where it happened at all, without her testimony.
Police execute a search warrant on Frazee's residence on December 14th, but find no evidence at the time to indicate Frazee as a suspect.
Our investigators believe that Kelsey's disappearance is more suspicious and that she is not intentionally avoiding efforts to find her.
2 days later, FBI and CBI agents make an unannounced visit to Kenny's Idaho home. She takes a plea deal in exchange for testimony, leading to a 4.5-hour interview here in the Springs.
It's incredibly disturbing that another mother could either help commit a murder or at least cover it up.
Frazee arrested the next day, December 21st, a surprising turn to those that knew he and Berreth.
When you find the right person and you get engaged, it's really exciting. And we just never expected things to turn out like this.
The same day as the arrest, Kenny takes police to the ranch, Frazee's property, and Berreth's home, confirming her story with signs of evidence previously undiscovered. She's also the reason police are interested here. Thanks to Kenny's information, authorities have known since December that Frazee had intentions of disposing Berreth's remains inside a landfill. That's why police are searching the Midway landfill here in the background. They're looking for any sign of her months after her alleged death.
With any investigation, when you get information from somebody, you got to go through and corroborate it. That takes some time, and then we've never done this. So we've had to reach out to partners across the nation.
While that search continues for Berreth's body, Frazee's future lies in the Teller County Courthouse, facing 8 total counts connected to the presumed murder. He has yet to enter a plea as attorneys on both sides are preparing for a potential trial. It's a process we'll continue to follow every step of the way.